Your foot's on my foot.
Hey.
Hey guys, so I am here with my friend Laura, who you might recognize. She was in my very first vlog that I ever did on this channel, a very poorly edited but somewhat entertaining.
It was awesome.
Okay. So Laura actually, the whole thing, look, we have to be careful because the whole you see how the camera's shaking, so we have to try to keep
This table's not secure all the way. They messed it up in the move.
Oh.
So it has to be replaced, so that's why.
Yeah, hands off the table. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Laura is one of my oldest friends. We were college roommates, and although college took us in separate directions, we actually found our way back to each other just a couple months ago.
October, gosh.
So Laura and I were roommates in college, and these were probably the wildest of our days. Maybe not for you.
For her.
You were a little wild before college, but I was definitely a goody two-shoes up until college, and then I met this one, and things went a little...
I mean, she makes it like I'm a bad influence, but really, you know how the story goes. The ones that are never wild are always the wildest. It's true.
So I asked you guys on Instagram because I'm here with Laura for her birthday, and I wanted to ask you guys if there was anything you wanted to know for us to kind of spill the tea about what the college days were like. And you guys sent in a ton of questions. Most of them were kind of the same, actually. You all kind of had the same ideas of what you wanted to hear about today. So I've chosen a few of those questions. I've written them down here on Laura's phone because we're using my phone as a monitor at the moment. Classy. And we're gonna go through some of these questions. So the first one, this is kind of out of order, but the first one that people wanted to know was, how did we meet each other?
We actually met working together. So we both worked at Victoria's Secrets when we were in... What?
While.
So yeah, we both worked at Victoria's Secrets while we were in college, and that's how we met. So we both worked there part-time, and, fell in love.
I think what drew us to each other is, I know this is a video about the wild years, but actually me and Laura were both really driven, career-oriented people who both started the jobs at Victoria's Secret knowing that we wanted to, at the very least, climb the ladder a little bit. So even though we were both seeing this as a college job that we were just doing while we were getting through college, we were both really, really driven to become managers, even though we knew that we would not have the time to do that because we were in school. But we kind of bonded over that, like both kind of competing with each other to like sell the credit cards.
We had to have the credit cards, and if I wasn't the top one, I did not. I had to be like the top credit card salesperson every month there. Yeah. So it was like her and me.
Yeah, it was born out of competition. And I remember one night, I don't even know how this came together, but one night we just decided to go have a drink together after work, and it was like after that we were just immediately friends.
Yep.
And it wasn't long after that we got our duplex together.
Yeah, so we started working together in the fall, obviously at the beginning of the semester, so in August. And then by that that Thanksgiving, we went to Thanksgiving together that year because you came home with me. So she's from a really small family, and I took her to Thanksgiving with my family, who is a huge family. So Thanksgiving for us is like 40 people. And so here's this one who's used to a Thanksgiving with like 4 people.
Just my parents.
And she's in the room, and then of course they're all like me, loud, talk constantly. And so she's like, oh, okay, every time I'd be like, Amber, you doing all right? Yeah, I'm good. Well, the food's good. The food's really good.
That's right. And I haven't done my outgoing introvert video yet, but I've talked about this a lot. Like, I am a person who presents as being very outgoing, but I'm actually extremely introverted. I have a very hard time around people that I don't know. Her family is not like this. And so immediately they're like, Amber, welcome to the family. And I'm like, too soon.
Everybody's giving her hugs, and she's like, okay, I see her like one arm patting, like, hey.
Side hugging everybody. And I'm like, yeah, this is good. It's good.
By the time we leave, she was like, oh, everybody's awesome. I love it. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have a wonderful family. I mean, like, they're the most warm, loving people, but it was a little much at first.
For her, like 3 group people.
Okay. So let's see. That was kind of a good question to start with. Okay. So a bunch of people asked about our most embarrassing moment in college.
So you can tell yours, which would be...
Actually, my most embarrassing moment involves you, though. Yeah. It was actually your most embarrassing moment. Can I tell this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So this was back during college when Halloween is nothing more than an excuse to dress slutty. And I'm sorry, we've grown since then, but at the time.
But no, it's still, when you're young, and it's used to dress slutty, let's be honest. If you're under 23, really, still for a lot of grown women, still hold to this, but no.
I want to point out, though, that I did not have breasts until I was 20 years old. Like, I was completely flat. So going through college and actually developing a little bit was a very exciting time for me. So, nonetheless, I was dressed up like a sexy referee, like, and so it was still kind of boyish.
In a typical Halloween costume.
Yeah.
That
like,
you would buy at Party City.
Right. Like, my midsection was exposed, but everything else was pretty covered up.
Very cute.
Yes.
Very cute.
Tasteful. Laura did not have a Halloween costume, and so this was something that I just invited her to a party that I was going to, and she had to put something together really quick.
And I'm creative, see?
Yes. So we're getting off work at Victoria's Secret, and I see Laura kind of like walking around the store, grabbing things. All of them are black and lacy.
Note, Victoria's Secrets is where we were.
So I'm watching her walk around, and I'm thinking, she's picking out her Halloween costume for tonight. I know it. We were living together at this time. So she ends up checking out with this black lace kind of, it's not a teddy. It actually looked like a dress. Like
It had long sleeves.
Long sleeves.
And a high neck.
Yes, it came all the way up to the collarbones. It covered her butt. It was pretty tasteful, but it was definitely lingerie. So I'm like, I'm not gonna ask. I just want to see what happens. So we get back to our duplex, and Laura puts together a very cute outfit. She's got some little cat ears. She draws a cat face, puts a tail on, and it was really cute. Like, she looked like a sexy college kitty cat. So we go to this frat party with this guy that I had been dating at the time, have a great time, drink a little too much, and at the end of the night, my boyfriend at the time was driving us home because he had been safe, and we knew we had a safe driver, so we partook of the
Halloween extravaganza.
Yes, but we decide on the way home that the party really isn't ready to be over yet, so we decide to pick up some beer at the gas station on the way home. What I had not realized, when we pull up to the gas station, Laura is a take charge kind of person, and so she's like, I'll go inside and I'll get the alcohol for us. And so me and my boyfriend were like, yeah, sure, go for it. Laura steps out of the car, and it's at this moment that I realized that Laura had spent the first part of the car ride taking off the majority of her costume. So she had removed the ears, removed the tail, she had like wiped most of the nose and the cat little whiskers off of her face, and now she's just a 21-year-old walking into a sketchy gas station in lingerie and high heels.
It was hilarious.
I watch her walking through, you kind of have to snake through the aisles to get to the beer section, and every person, male or female, in that place was looking at her like, what is this? And I'm sinking down in my seat in the car. I'm just like, I don't want anyone to know that I'm with her. And she picks up the beer and she comes and gets in my car, and I'm like, my boyfriend's getting arrested. Like, someone has to assume that something terrible is happening here. And Laura gets in the car, and I was like, Laura, why don't you have your costume on? And she goes, I don't have my costume on anymore? And she's like, oh, I guess I don't, yeah.
Oh, well.
So for me, even though that was her most embarrassing moment, it was very embarrassing for me as well, just watching my friend.
I think more so for her. Because I was like,
she never cared. She never cared. But as someone who has been at least a tad bit more modest in those days than she was, I was just like sinking into my chair.
Meanwhile, I'm like, oh well, I'm covered. It's like a swimsuit. It's fine.
That was her exact reaction too. She's like, nobody cares. What about you? What was your most embarrassing moment?
I guess if we could reverse, the most embarrassing for you would be the one so this is before we lived together. This was shortly after we had become friends. And I was in an apartment at the time, and we were having a bunch of people over, having a party at the apartment. And so she comes over to visit and has a few drinks, quite a few drinks. And at this point, the night's worn on. And she's like, all right, I'm going to go. And I was like, oh, is somebody coming to pick you up? No, I got my keys right here. I was like, no, you're not driving. I'm fine. I can drive. I haven't had that many. Yes, you have. Let me have your keys. You're not driving. No, I'm driving. You know how people are when they shouldn't be driving.
I want to point out, I was 21 and had never drank really before. So I had no concept of like what is, like I was the person that was always insisting that I wasn't drunk because I wasn't totally sure what drunk felt like, but she knew. She was like, homegirl is drunk.
Not driving. So we do this for probably like a good 5-10 minutes of, no, I'm going to drive. No, you're not. Let me have your keys. And you know how like when it's really that level, they try to do the run away from you. You know, no, I'm kind of, and they are like going away, like running with the keys. And so at this point, we're behind the couch, and like I'm still trying to get the keys from her, and she does one of these, and it's like, no, I'm driving. So I was like, okay, fine, we're gonna do it like that. So in my mind, the best way to stop her is to stop her from being able to walk out the door, because you know she's not letting me take the keys like a normal person would. So you know, my way to stop her is to, you know, just kind of forcibly remove her from the situation.
Oh, no. Tell them what you mean by forcibly remove.
So the way I'm trying to get the keys, she won't let me get the keys. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to move all of you. So we're on the other side of the couch. So my solution is I'm just going to pick her up and essentially body slam her across the sofa, except for I go a little far with it. And she lands on the wall opposite after she slid over the coffee table.
No. Just pause, because she's trying to make this sound not as violent as it was. She picked me up and threw me across a glass table and threw me with such velocity that I went all the way across the table and hit the wall that was on the other side of the table and then hit the floor. Okay? I had bruises from the back of my kneecap up to my butt from sliding across this glass table.
The best part is after she hits the wall and falls down, what I do is walk over, pick her keys up off the ground and said, you're not driving, go lay down. Take the keys and hide them.
No, but I start yelling at you for throwing me across the table, and you said, I'm not sorry.
I'm like, I'm not sorry. You're trying to drive. Now you're not. I have your keys. Thanks.
Now listen, I want to pause here for a minute because I realize we're talking about this like it's funny. It is never funny to be trying to drive when you're drunk. And I want to make sure that, I'm just shaking the table.
I know.
I want to make sure that's really clear. It is not funny what I was trying to do. It's funny to look back on it now because the situation did not become dangerous, but obviously I have so many regrets about just how completely irresponsible I was. I would like to point out that at the end of the day, this story exists because of a very good friend who refused to let a very immature, inexperienced person go try to drive and put myself and other people in danger.
Yes,
and I just
never drive when you're drinking.
That's right. It's not funny. So those were, I need your, we're friends and I still look away when you put in your passcode. How funny.
I was like, I wondered what you were doing. I was like, what are you doing?
Okay. Okay. Best party you attended or threw?
Oh, our kegger that we threw at the house.
That was gonna be
my Okay, that would definitely be the best one.
So there was a driveway keg party on the cove that we lived on. So we lived in a duplex, which, oh my God, do you remember when the drummer lived beside us?
Yes.
In a duplex? We lived in a duplex that was like, we had one half of the house and someone else had the other half. And it was completely divided by a wall, 2 entries and everything. Mm-hmm. But we shared a wall with this person. And of course, this person was a drummer in a band, and it was like constant drumming.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so everyone on the cul-de-sac where we lived, although we didn't really get along very well with most of our neighbors.
I don't even remember any of them.
Do you remember the neighbors that someone came and parked in our driveway, and we were both on my bed?
Yes!
And we were peeking through the blinds because someone was parked in our driveway and refusing to leave.
Yeah.
And but my car, I can't remember if your car also, but my car was parked in the driveway and blocked in by these people that were having like a domestic dispute in our driveway.
And so of course we're not going to go down there and stop it because it's a whole situation happening in the car. We're like, oh. Okay.
No, we straight up called the police. And we sat there on my bed, which was by the window, peeking
as the
through.
Police come.
So yeah, we called the police and then sat there and just like watched it all go down. Which I also have a YouTube video similar to this. I will link it in a card up here and down below as well. I seem to always be finding myself calling the police and peering through the blinds. I don't know what it is. But yeah, we threw a big kegger, like where everyone on our cul-de-sac put a keg on the end of their driveway, and we just partied. It was amazing.
Yep, it was so much fun.
Do you plan on letting your kids know how wild you were? And a similar related question was, do you think that being wild will give you a leg up on raising teens?
So to my answer would be yes to both. So yes, I think I think it's hard to understand a teenager's perspective when you've been like a goody two shoes, so to speak, your whole time. If you have a child who is a bit more rebellious, it's a little bit hard to like put your, feet in their shoes and really understand on their level.
Well, and I also think though, I think it's going to be important to me to share with my children that I did not party in high school. Like I want them to understand, because there is some alcoholism in my family, I want them to understand that I waited until I was 21 when it was legal, and I felt that I was of at least a mature enough mind, and obviously I wasn't, but I felt as though it was safer for me at 21 to start drinking, and I want them to know that. Like, here were the responsible choices that I made that I feel were good for my life. But I also want to convey to them when they go to college, like, listen, I'm not out of touch with what college life is like, and I'm going to be honest, college was one of my favorite times. You have all of the freedoms of an adult and none of the responsibilities. It's amazing.
It's great.
I want them to understand that I don't judge them. I want them to be safe. And I think my favorite quote as a mom that I'm going to use their whole lives is, be good, and if you can't be good, be safe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want my kids to party as hard as I did, but I do want them to experience the world. And I want to say something. I've never done drugs. And so that's the other side of it, is I'm like, I've done the things that are legal for my age and for the country in general. Like, if it was illegal, I never did it. And that's another thing that I kind of would encourage my children to do, is like, listen, just do what's legal. So here's a good one. I don't know if I know the answer to this. Did you ever have fights?
Us?
Yeah.
No.
I don't think so.
We never really did have fights. No.
I have the best memories of Laura, actually. And in fact, most of my my favorite memories actually have nothing to do with our partying. Like, my favorite memories have to do with in the mornings a lot of times, like when neither of us had work or school, I'd wake up and I would immediately walk into Laura's room, and we would both like sit in her bed with hot chocolate and we would read books. And that was just like one of my favorite things. I love that we both got dogs right around the same time, and we were raising dogs together in that house, who, by the way, destroyed that duplex.
And the dog that you saw wander through the video earlier is the dog that we got in college. He'll be 14 this year, so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a long time. So yeah, I mean, I don't remember us really ever fighting, and I think that's something that really cemented our friendship, is that you and I went through some really bad times together, making terrible decisions, doing things that hurt ourselves and hurt others, just being generally
teenagers, young people,
and toxic versions of ourselves. Like, good people. We were good people who loved each other and loved the people around us, but also we were just not mature people, and we just made lots of bad decisions. And through every bad decision that we made individually and as a team, we loved each other through that time. We just always, no judgment, no not being condescending to each other, even when we hurt each other. And I think we did. I don't remember us fighting, but I think I remember us.
There would be hurt feelings, of course, because anytime you have two people living together, you're going to have differences. But no, there was never anything that got out of hand or got, the hurt feelings were quickly remedied. They were short-lived.
Yeah. And there's just so many, like, I remember going into your closet and just grabbing shoes and pants, just, whatever, like, I'm just gonna.
It was the beauty, we were the same size, it was wonderful.
Yeah, or even, like, I don't know if I'll leave this in the video, but, like, just things that you take for granted, of, like, you would be in the bathtub shaving your legs, and I would come in and sit on the edge of the bathtub and talk to you, and just, like, but those are, like, I know it sounds weird, maybe you don't relate, but, like, those close moments of friendship, of just being vulnerable with someone else, and, like, loving each other so much, of just being like, you know what, here I am. It was you saw me through some crazy times with some crazy boyfriends, like,
good times. Got to meet some of their family.
That was actually, so one of the questions here is best ride or die moment, and I can't think of a specific ride or die moment. I just know that through the whole time we have known each other, we have dated people who were good for us and people who were bad for us.
Hello.
Hi, baby.
Somebody wanted to come say hi.
This one is the result of someone who was good for Laura. But one of the things that I think was the most ride or die is, like, we have always, whether we liked each other's significant others or not, if he made her happy, I liked him. even if I didn't actually like him. If she was happy, I was down for it. If this guy was making her unhappy or treating her badly, I hated this person. And she was the same with me and wasn't afraid to tell me. You know, like I remember some folks that you were like...
Yeah, I'm pretty honest, pretty blunt.
One of the last questions that I was going to address, and again, there were lots, but this video is already getting kind of long, was do you have any regrets?
Okay, so I think the answer for me, and the same would be said for Amber, is, you know, personally, I don't really do regrets. I don't think that it's, you know, a healthy way to, you know, to live. I think that everything that happens in your life happens for a reason, and everything, whether it be good or bad, has brought you to the point where you are now. You know, are there things that I would change or, you know, kind of wish that I had done differently? Sure, but would I have done them differently if I had the chance to go back? I wouldn't, because, you know, it would make where we are now would be a different place. So no, personally, I don't have any regrets with things.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if I weren't the kind of person who, and I'm the first person to be critical of myself on this channel. I'm the first person to point out my shortcomings, but I also like to acknowledge good things about myself. And one thing that I like about who I am is my ability to take stupid mistakes and learn from them and grow from them and hopefully become a better person. And I feel like even though there are many things that I look back on, and if I could do them again, I wish I didn't have that in my history. I still know that history has, like Laura said, shaped me into who I am. And I think for the good or for the bad, those things that I did, they grew me in one way or another. And I think that's really the only way to look at your past.
Yeah. Every decision, whether it's good or bad, has brought you to where you are. So, you know, if you don't like something, change your future. You can't go back and do anything about the past, so there's no point in looking at the regrets.
Yeah. And the weird thing is, even decisions that we made that took us away from each other ended up bringing us back to
together.
Each other in the end, which is even crazier.
Yep. Because when we say we lived apart, we were like across the country. Like it was not like, oh, a couple hours down the road. It was like 12 hours away.
Yeah.
All right, little me.
So guys, there were more questions here, but I'm running out of storage space on my SD
And this one's
card.
running out of patience.
Yes, that one, yeah, he's all set. So we're going to go ahead and end this video. There were some more questions that you guys asked. Maybe I'll address them in my Instagram stories. I don't know. Thanks for tuning in. I love having guests on my channel, especially people as special to me as Laura. So thank you, Laura, for being here today.
Anytime.
Yeah, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Love ya, mean it always. Mwah! And I'll see you later. Bye.